So as we've said, ethically salient situations are situations where there are things that are important to us, some of which may be at risk in the situation. I may not be able to live up to in the discharge plan that I'm developing, keeping my patient safe, doing what the patient wants in terms of a discharge plan, as well as, for example, preventing the patient from coming back, maximizing their well-being in the community to achieve a really good quality of life. How do I prioritize these things? Some of these things I may not be able to live up to. Pluralism is about recognizing that we're in ethically salient situations with other people, and that we see that as a good thing, and that we want to work with other people, despite our different perspectives, to try to figure out how we should move forward. Ethically salient situations, then, are situations where there is something that's important that could be at risk of getting lost. And when it's the case that there are things that are important to us that might be lost, we may feel pain as a result of that. And when we feel pain, we are at risk of showing that pain in ways that are hurtful to other people. So dealing with ethically salient situations in partnership with other people, in the best spirit of a pluralistic attitude, requires us to have the emotional intelligence to deal with the feelings, especially the painful feelings, that could arise when it's the case that people or ourselves, we feel that what matters to us is threatened. So emotional intelligence is a key part of having a pluralistic disposition to difference. How should we define emotional intelligence? I want to suggest in very simple ways. It's about being able to identify, to understand the feelings that we are having in a situation, and then to manage those feelings in a way that allows us to productively engage in the deliberation and the decision making. And it involves being able to recognize the emotional reaction that other people are having and being able to support other people to process their emotions in a way that enables them to participate in the process as well. Notice that emotional intelligence is not about trying to do away with emotions. Emotions are very, very important. Compassion is all about experiencing the emotions, the feelings of someone else, and sitting with them when they're having painful feelings. Emotions are also an excellent way of trying to understand whether there's something important to someone that they're scared of losing. It's a way of trying to penetrate what's happening for them, what their values are their values in peril? So emotions are important indicators of someone's ability to live with integrity in a given situation. So we want an emotional experience, and we want to be able to manage our own and support others' emotional experiences in a way that allows us to productively participate in the moral reasoning process to figure out how we should react in the given situation. One of the things that we need to do then in demonstrating emotional intelligence is name our feelings. This is something that we're not always good at doing. In fact, when I ask someone, how are you feeling about something, they will often tell me, well, this is what I think. And I'm actually not asking about how they're thinking. I'm asking, well, how are they feeling? What's in their hearts? What's in their shoulders in the given moment? In this section of our resource, we want to point to some of the tools that are provided by the Yale Center for Emotional Intelligence for naming feelings and then processing them. The tool that I want to really highlight is what's called the meta moment. It's a way of reacting when our buttons, if you will, are pushed. The meta moment relies on this idea of the gap between having our button pushed and reacting. There's a great quote by Viktor Frankl where he says, between stimulus and response, there is a space. And in that space is our power to choose our response. And in our response lies our growth and our freedom. I'm talking to the dad. The dad is saying to me, why haven't you cleaned my son's room? You need to go and clean my son's room. And there's judgment and anger and upset in his voice. And my buttons are being pushed because of course I clean the room and I do a really good job and I care about my job and all the stuff that's going on inside of me. I'm scared and I'm angry and frustrated. And in the moment between my feeling all of these things and my reacting, there is a space. And in that space is where I can actually control how I want to deal with the feelings I'm having and then react. Instead of just reacting, it's about owning that moment, that space. And the tool that I'm referring to calls that space the meta moment and offers 4 steps we can follow in that meta moment to own our reaction. The first step in the meta moment process, as I say, there's 4 steps. The first step is awareness. It's sensing what's going on. Holy cow, there's something going on there's a change in my body, my heart's racing faster, there's a change in my mind, I'm thinking stuff, oh my goodness, there's something going on. So it's an act of awareness, an act of perception internally as to what's going on. The second step in the meta moment is to pause and not react right away, is to just breathe and to say, okay, I get how I'm feeling, I'm aware of it. The third step in the meta moment is to quickly imagine what is the best self I want to bring into this situation? What are those qualities of character that I want to show the world, that I always want to manifest and demonstrate as I interact with the world and other people? And then the fourth step is to strategically act, to say, okay, how do I respond in this situation in a way that will allow me not to be reactive and get caught up in the pain I'm experiencing, but rather to show the world the kind of person I want to be, the kind of person I want the world to see.